Thanks again for coming. Proud and happy to reintroduce our President of Hockey Operations, John Davidson. So I think JD's got a few remarks, and then we'll open it up to your questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. JD.
Thanks, Todd. Good afternoon, everyone. Our management group and coaches and a lot of future players returned last night from Traverse City, Michigan. We were up there for 6 days, 5 nights for a rookie tournament. And I will say that having done that for 16 or 17 seasons, this was a really, really good tournament for the Blue Jackets. The players themselves and the staff played extremely well. They played hard. It was physical. When you think of some of the young players that we really look at for our future, Sillinger, Chinikov, amongst others, they really did their jobs. For us, it was a chance to get together as a staff, do a lot of different things and bond. And again, as a person who's gone there with different organizations and for 15 or 16 seasons, this was really, really good, really beneficial, and it gives us a good start as we get into this brand new season. I'd like to say that we're going to have 67 players come into camp, and they're all fully vaccinated, which is really important. It's an important issue for us. It's a team first issue. We win as a team, lose as a team. Everything we do together as a team. And as we continue to navigate the COVID-19, it's just no different. We have to do what we have to do. I'm proud of our group, and I'm proud that they recognize how important it is for us to do everything we can to protect ourselves and others. Forward Zach Ronaldo, whom we signed to a two-way contract this summer, is not vaccinated. And because of that, and that's his decision, the plan is to start him in the American Hockey League, and he will not be coming to our training camp. And with that, I'd be very happy to take questions from anyone.
First up, Aaron Portsline. Go ahead, Porty.
Hey, John, the NHL has protocols in place for players who are not vaccinated. Do you have any issue? Do you expect to have any pushback from the Players Association about declaring a player not welcome to camp because he's not vaccinated?
You know, Porty, good question, but I think when you read the amount of players and the percentage of players that have been vaccinated, it's a big, big number. There's very few that aren't, and that's their own personal choice. I'm not going to sit here and tell them what to do, even though I'd like to see the whole world vaccinated. My daughter's a doctor, and she believes in this, and I believe in her because she's a hell of a lot smarter than I am. And I'd like to see the whole world get vaccinated, including all the athletes. We have to, I think, when we think about vaccination and we think about our team, we think about our fans, we think about our players and their families, we have a responsibility as the leaders of the organization. We want our people vaccinated. We want to wear masks as much as possible. It's just the way it is. Yes, we work closely with the NHL. And the NHL does their thing with the Players Association. So there is protocol that's been set up. We follow it to a T and trust their judgment.
He's got it. Nobody else, really? We'll go to Mark Scheig and then come back to Aaron.
John, you just talked about the fans. Do we know the protocols for them? Are they going to have to be fully vaccinated or masked or anything like that?
I can take care of that. They will have to wear masks. We'll adhere to the local mandates, and as I think most people are aware, a week ago, the mayor and city council dictated that for indoor events, so we will adhere to that. My understanding now, there's no vaccination requirement to that, but everyone will have to be masked. Go ahead, Aaron.
JD, just with the sweeping changes that this organization's gone through, I mean, this summer, yes, but even back to the later stages of last season. What's the vibe like from you? What are your expectations of just the energy level, the newness, just what the feeling is around this club as the new season dawns?
I think knowing what the staff, led by Jarmo, and the amount of thought and work everybody put into this, we're excited. We're really excited. Yes, there's changes. You never know where the changes take you at times. But even if you look at the Traverse City situation, there's been a lot of really, really good young players come through that tournament. And to see what players like Chinikoff and Sillinger did, Dunn played really well for a big man. He played a nasty game. Those are the types of things that make you excited. And I know some of the future's not here, but the players and the additions we've made, the trades we've made, there's sincere optimism. You can't sit here and predict where you're going to go, but we're going to, as I've said in many years past, we're going to go north. I'm telling you right now, if anybody wants to show up and not work hard and not play and not do their jobs, there's other people around here that are going to take jobs, and we're going to go forward. We're going to become a very, very good hockey club. We're all committed to it, and I think the patience level is where it should be. But you can't just sit here and be patient. You've got to push, and we're going to push.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger on the left.
Yeah, JD, when you were in New York, you guys did a kind of a full rebuild. You were trying to do a rebuild there. Didn't get a chance to see that through. Here, you're going through a reset, whatever you guys want to call it. How much are you looking forward to kind of seeing that through and seeing where it takes you guys?
Oh, I can speak on behalf of myself and my family. We're 100%, 110% completely thrilled to be back here in Columbus. And knowing the ownership that we work for, we've gone through a lot of changes. Brad is the new head coach. We've got a lot of changes in place that are exciting when you think about it. And as camp's starting, it's not going to be the same old. It's going to be brand new for a lot of different people, a lot of different positions. Seeing it through, that's other people's decisions to make, not mine. I'd love to be here as long as I possibly can. I'd love to be part of bringing a championship to the Columbus Blue Jackets and the city of Columbus. It would be marvelous. And when you think of the people that are now in the training camp that belong to the Blue Jackets, others that aren't here yet, this isn't a situation where you're wondering who. I don't know. This is a good situation. There's a lot of promise here, and there's a lot of positive things. And for me, being around as long as I have, this is an extremely exciting situation. I had, when I left New York, didn't want to at the time, but I did, I was told, and I had plenty of different offers, lots of opportunities to do different things, whether it be other teams or whether it be the world of the media or whatever. I sat down with my family, we chose Columbus. We chose Columbus because of the city, because of the hockey club, which I was away for 2 seasons, but it didn't feel like that. And when you have ownership like this, you have a city that supports a team like this, and you sit there and analyze where the team is and how we can get to where we have to get to, this is an extremely good situation. I'm excited to be a part of this and work with everybody, and we're going for it.
Take one more for JD before we bring Yarmo up, if there are any. Yep. Go to Craig Mers.
JD, since you've been back in Columbus, as far as the team, where have you spent the majority of your time working on?
Josh Flynn helps with the contracts. We've been going through those situations. We've been analyzing the Cleveland Club. Of course, a lot of the time, frankly, has been spent with our group trying to get the whole protocol and people into the country from around the world with a world of travel that's different right now, all those situations. Hockey-wise, we've had some great discussions. I got here, that we went through the draft. We're real happy with what happened at the draft. So it's been a little bit of everything. It hasn't been a typical summer where you work till the middle of July and take 6 weeks off. It just hasn't happened, which is good because we had enough time off, trying to be careful with the whole COVID situation. But we've had our fingers into everything. We're doing a major renovation on our locker room, things along those lines where a lot of people have put a lot of good, solid, hard work into this thing. So there's just a lot of things happening, a lot of good things, and now it's time to get back to work.
Thanks, JD.
Thank you.
Again, if you have a question for Yarmo, please raise your hand and we'll get you a mic. Start with Aaron Portzline.
Good day, Yarmo. How disappointed are you in the Ronaldo situation? This is a player you signed maybe an energy guy just to see it come to this? Is this the end of something, or is this just a detour till things get straightened out on his end or your end or whatever?
I think the ball is in his court right now. As JD mentioned, we do everything as a team, and that's a requirement of being a Blue Jacket. And we're going with the group that we have here, which is 100% vaccinated, and we'll see how it develops.
Next, we'll go front right, Dave Metzel.
Yarmo, how impressed were you by what you saw from Sillinger and Chinnikov up in Traverse City, and how will that impact what kind of step, I guess, did they take toward making this roster, or will that yet to be determined here during training camp?
We evaluate these players every day, and obviously when we get into the NHL competition, then it's going to be up a notch or two. I would say just the whole team in Traverse City was very impressive. I think it was well coached, led by Trent Vogelhuber, and they competed really hard, played hard as a team, had each other's backs, and there were some very physical games there. And I'm really proud of that group, not just a couple of individuals. And the leadership by Josh Dunn ended up winning the scoring in the tournament, and played as hard as I've seen guys play in that tournament with great leadership, and it looks like he's taken a step from last year and has had a great off season. Stanislav Swazil is a young defenseman that was 18 years old and is physically very immature still, but had all kinds of courage and to make plays and trying to make a difference. That was very nice to see. And I could mention a lot of different guys, but obviously everybody's eyes were on Sillinger and Chinnikov, because they dominated in that tournament, in my opinion. But not just statistically. I think that the competitiveness and maturity of Sillinger showed his leadership, and people have analyzed his skating. I must be seeing it totally differently, because I am not the least bit worried about his skating. Every time there's a puck race, he wins it. Maybe it's partly because of his competitiveness, but I think he's got great explosiveness too. Might not be the smoothest skater, but I really don't care about the style of skating. I care about effectiveness of skating, if you want, efficiency of skating, if you want to call it that, and just how well he played in the physical games too, competing and just making a difference. And Chinnikov, everybody talks about his shot, but I think that now that everybody seems to be pretty familiar with his shot through the highlights and all that, I think you'll see another side of him too, where if you overplay him, he's gonna pass the puck, and he sees the ice really well. So those two guys have good opportunities ahead of them, but they're gonna have to earn it, and they're gonna have to earn it from Brad Larson first and the management. And there's no spots given for anybody here. Doesn't matter where you're drafted or what your salary is, you're still gonna have to earn it. So it starts tomorrow with testing and medicals, and then we'll go from there.
Next, go to Brian Hedger on the left. Go ahead, Hedge.
Just kind of building off that, from that tournament, you guys have been there a number of years, as JD was saying, and you've seen guys come through there and do certain things. When you're coming out of this one, are you able to look at what they did? You just said they dominated. Are you able to look at what they did and kind of even already sort of project what you think they can do even this season?
Well, I've been in that tournament since 2002. Couple of years that I missed when I wasn't working for an NHL organization, but usually the players that can dominate in that tournament have a real good chance of stepping right in and playing. It obviously depends on the team and the opportunities and all that, and it's another level when you get to the NHL competition and how they handle that. And do they get nervous? Do they get stage fright with the big boys, or do they have the courage to play the right way when they have a star player playing next to them? Those are the mental part questions that they'll have to answer with their play and with the way they handle themselves with the NHL competition. But I think it's a great start. In the previous organizations that I've worked, it's usually translated pretty well. If they can dominate in the rookie tournament or rookie games, they are usually a step ahead, and that shows also in the NHL competition. But again, they'll have to do it on the ice and earn it day by day. And I guarantee you that the NHL guys have heard all about them, and nobody's going to be giving their jobs up easily, and they're going to be facing a tough competition once the camp starts.
Go to Mark. Mark Scheich here on the right.
Jarmo, any injury updates? And Max Domi, is he still on the same time frame as originally thought? Trey Fix-Wolansky as well?
Yeah, we'll update when we have something new on him. But Max Domi's ahead of the schedule. But again, that's going to depend on when he starts on the ice, and then when he progresses to the contact and all that. And with those kind of injuries, you're just going to have to go through the process and be 100% ready. And same goes to Fix-Wolansky, obviously. Different injury, but something that takes time, and not only getting the injury healed, but then getting into game condition.
We'll go back to Brian Hedger.
You know, when you're going through a process like you are right now, trying to retool and bolster your overall roster, you obviously got to get those first-round picks, second-round picks to click. But how much can it help your effort when you get guys in the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round that can push for NHL time or even make it to the NHL?
Yeah, that would be huge. That's those are the spots where your amateur staff really shows that how much of a difference, how much of an impact they can make on our team, and we've had some real good picks from the later rounds, and the credit goes to the amateur scouting staff. They've done a great job for us. They continue to do a great job for us, and we rely on them. So, yeah, it's important.
Next, go to Aaron Portzline.
Hey, Jarmo, center ice is such a crucial position. Can you just sort of talk about your group of centers and maybe how curious you are as to how that's going to fall 1 through 4, or how unsettled and open it appears right now?
I think we have 8 exhibition games to figure it out in which order they go, and not only that, but how they go about their business every day here. We have high expectations for Jack Roslovic. He's shown his offensive ability last year. Now he needs to show us that his two-way game has grown, and it looks like he had a great summer. He looks a lot stronger, and he's worked with Mark Letestu on defensive assignments on video in the summertime, in the off-season, and he'll be working with our coaching staff throughout the training camp on the same topics, and then the exhibition season will tell us where he's at, and he's got top line ability offensively, but be able to play top line, and the competition against the top lines, you're going to have a real solid two-way game because the top centers in the league have that. They don't only have the offense, but they have the defensive game down as well. So we expect a lot of growth from Jack. I think we expect a lot of growth from Texier. Boone Jenner can play center, and he's a solid two-way guy, and we can rely on him defensively. In the face-offs, he's one of the better face-off men in the league in the last few years. Justin Danforth has played a lot of center, and obviously Sean Corrali, who we acquired in the offseason, is going to be one of the key guys that we can rely on defensively in penalty killing and some tough matchups as well. So we'll have a lot of options. We're looking forward to growing that position. And obviously Sillinger is a center that played center in Traverse City, and with the coaching staff we'll look at where he has the best opportunity to succeed here.
Any more questions for Jarmo? Great. Thanks, Jarmo. Why don't we start with Aaron Portzline? Usually do.
Lead off, huh?
Morning, Lars. Can you tell us at this juncture, I know we're 2 days away from being on the ice, but who does start with line A and Voracek if they're on the line, and who skates next to Werenski on that pair?
No.
Letting you ease into the situation? No, you're not going there?
No. We've had a discussion before camp here, and like Yarmo said, there's a lot of opportunity in the middle here, and there's some guys that we're going to look at. What starts on day 1 and day 2 might change day 3 and day 4. We got 8 exhibition games. I've said this all along. Chemistry is a funny thing. You know, it's why we write things down in pencil in the summertime, because what looks like would be a perfect fit doesn't work, and there's no rhyme or reason. You know, so we're going to try some things. We're going to look at some guys, and you know, we have some thoughts, obviously, and there's been a lot of discussions within our coaching staff, and we'll see where it goes. Guys are going to get some different looks and different opportunities.
We'll go to Mitch Stacy in the middle there.
Hey, Brad. You have the advantage of knowing a lot of these guys really well. Who are you leaning on for that sort of emotional leadership sort of roles that gets everybody going and keeps them going?
Well, there's going to be several guys for sure. I think, you know, one thing we look at right away is the shift in leadership that has happened over the last year here with, you know, Nick's gone and Savvy was here for a long time. Cam is gone. Jonesy's been a big part of it. He's gone. So it's a real opportunity for some guys to empower them. And a guy like Boone Jenner, who's been here for a while. I think we all know Boone's game. He's a heart and soul guy. He's a Blue Jacket, and he's a guy that his game exemplifies what we want to be every night. You know, I think Oliver Bjorkstrand is the guy we're going to lean on. He's been here. I think he's earned the right to take the next step in his career. I think he's excited about it. If you talk to him about it, he's not a rah guy. He's not everything you see that Oliver's going to do is going to be done by his actions, and I'm completely fine with that. You know, less talk and more action is usually a really good thing. I'm excited for Zach Werenski, another guy. I think he's come in tremendous shape already. I've seen him. He looks different. You can tell he's put the work in. I talked to the trainers, and I talked to Kevin, and talked to Z, and he's taken it very serious. He has in the past, but I feel like this year he really wanted to make a stamp, and he has. He made an impression right away just when I saw him, and we talked, and he made some changes. So those are 3 guys right away. I look at another guy like Gus Nyquist, missed a whole year. There's a guy who's very hungry to get back in the lineup. He's another guy. He's just got that energy about him. He's excited to get back to play. He's a tenacious player. He's gonna hunt the puck. He's gonna be aggressive. That's what we want to be.
Do you need some rah-rah guys, or does it matter to you?
Oh, there's some rah-rah guys in there, but we won't get into everybody's personality. I think to have a diverse room is good, and different personalities, and you know, that's one thing that's going to be intriguing to watch too, is the chemistry of the room. It's changed, it's shifted, and as leaders shift into that role, different guys, how they accept that opportunity. We're going to be watching it closely, so it's good to have different guys. You don't want all the same type of players.
Next we go to Brian Hedger.
Speaking of jotting things down in pencil, as you said, you've had this job since the summer. You've got a chance to see what the roster is going to kind of look like. How much have you enjoyed? Have you written potential lineups down and things like that? I mean, are you enjoying that part of the job? Looking forward to it, and you know, getting to the point where you can write it down in ink, I guess now.
Yeah, it's you know, as we said early in this process in June, you know, we didn't know what the team was going to look like. We knew it was going to take through free agency, through the draft, and possible trades. Once the dust settled, that's when you really started to maybe piece some things together again in pencil. And I know it sounds redundant and a little bit overkill, but there's a process that's going to play out here, and it might just not solve itself in camp either. It might roll right into the first several games and into the season. The exhibition is one thing. You got Max Domi, where, you know, he's going to be coming in at some point. Is it earlier or later? That'll be dictated by the training staff and discussions with him and when he's ready. So where does he fit in with some of these guys? And so there's so many moving parts and what it's going to look like, and I don't think you can settle on, if you're settled on something right now on day one, I think that'd be foolish. We're just too far away from game action, and when the games mean something, how that changes also.
Next we go to Dave Metzel.
Hey, Lars. You've been a player, you've been an assistant coach, head coach in the minors. I don't know, how are your emotions different as you're now 2 days away from taking the reins of an NHL team? Any difference for you?
Yeah, a lot more calls, a lot more discussions, a lot of this stuff. You know, it's just time consuming. Nothing that you weren't expecting or unprepared for, but you're excited, and I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to be jumping up and down, but internally I'm very excited. I'm excited about our staff. I'm excited about the players' discussions. You know, it's a very humbling opportunity to get a role like this at this level, and so you do everything you can to prepare for it, and you trust what you do, and then you get after it.
Let's go back center.
Hey, Brad, you touched on empowering some of the younger guys to step up into leadership roles. Do you have a timeline in mind for naming a captain?
No, it's, I've had a lot of discussions internally with that. I don't want to rush that decision. The thing about being a captain, it's a really incredible opportunity and responsibility to lead an organization, not just the players, but you represent, a city really. There's some obvious choices. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to figure out who those guys are. But when the chemistry is different and when there's different guys coming in, a lot of moving parts, you lost a C and 2 A's really within a year, who had a major impact on our group for a long time. So who's going to rise? And that's what camp is about. That's what we may make that decision by the end of camp, but I'm not going to rush it or just make a decision to make a decision. That doesn't make sense. I think it's got to be the right guy, the right timing of it. And, so I can't tell you if we are going to. I can't tell you if it pushed into the season. We may go a whole year. I don't know. Like I said, we've weighed a lot of the options. We've had a lot of discussion on, but we're going to let this play out a little bit and just see how it transpires.
Next, we go to Mark Scheig here on the right.
Brad, coming in, some of the younger players especially are going to have a big season ahead, and it's going to be a lot of development for them. So, they might make a mistake on the ice here or there, but when it comes to maybe do you let them play through it? Do you pull them? Like, what are you going to look into when evaluating some guys like that?
Yeah, I think if they make a mistake, that's it. They won't play anymore for a lot of games. No, there's so many layers that go into that question, and I know there's always this thing about benching guys or sitting them 1 shift, 3 shifts, 5 shifts, a period. Behind the scenes, when we're coaching these guys, there's a one-on-one video, there's discussion on team system and structure. Then there's the other aspect, competitive level. We're competing at the puck, so if there's decisions to be made where they're sat down for a certain period of time, there's usually a lot of information that has gone on behind the scenes over time. And so to sit here and say how that's going to happen and put a certain, you can't, if that makes sense. I certainly am not going to coach a player with the mentality that if he makes a mistake, he can't get back on the ice. I think that's ridiculous, and I don't think there's many coaches that believe in that. You got to show the players to show a care and a will to learn and absorb the information and then apply it, and that comes in practices and video sessions. And everybody's in different stages in that. With a younger group, sometimes there's some growing pains in that, and so I think we'll conduct accordingly with the player and its individual, and as we go forward here. But I think the simple answer from what you were getting is I don't want a player to play scared that he's going to make a mistake. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's the way you got to free yourself up. You got to be yourself and be aggressive.
A couple more for Brad. We'll go to Brian Hedger on the left.
Yeah, hey, Lars. I know last year with the protocols and all that stuff, it was a weird year and it affected guys differently. Some people struggled, others didn't. Laine was one of those guys, obviously, that just he wanted to do more and wasn't able to. Was there an effort this summer or in the offseason, I guess, among the staff, kind of looking at things that you guys can do to kind of get him back to the level that he wants to be and you guys want him to be?
Well, I think the number one thing you always want to have is communication. It's not just with Patrick, it was all our guys, trying to give them clarity and our thoughts, expectations, what it looks like moving forward. Patrick, since you mentioned his name, he's, we've kind of beat this to death. He didn't have a great finish with us. He admitted it. But he's put that behind him. I put that behind him, or myself, and it's a fresh start for him. He's put the work in. He's excited. I think he's energized. That's the first step, and I think now we get into camp, and everybody just wants to kind of get going at this point. The last couple of weeks kind of drag on. You just want to get out there with your teammates and get rolling. So I expect Patty to have a better start, better year, but I expect that from a lot of our guys. Last year was a challenging year for a lot of reasons, not just because of COVID and all that, but as a team we didn't get to where we wanted to, and I really, and I've said this before, I really took the opportunity to watch, especially the last 6 weeks of the season, how people responded on the bench, in practice, their habits in the gym. Not that you're spying on guys, but when your eyes are open and your ears are listening and you hear stuff and interactions, some guys really rose in those, even though we didn't win. And some guys, there was some concern. So I think, when it gets tough and it gets ugly, that's when we got to really get together and truly be a family.
We'll wrap it up with Dave Metzel. Go ahead, Dave.
I'm just curious, in past seasons there has been a tendency to look at the seasons in game segments. Before Thanksgiving we want to do this, or in this period we want to do this. Have you broken it down at all like that in terms of how you want to see first 10 games go, first month go, any kind of thing like that? Do you have any sort of short-term goals for this team right now?
I do. I'm not going to get into all that as far as on the stats side of it. When you get a young team and you're bringing in a lot of new faces, younger guys, different chemistry, there's other goals that you're looking for, and it's that progress. It's that, I'm big on competitiveness. I want us to be competitive. I want us to be that relentless, that blue jacket feel every night. Are we doing that? Are we adhering to the values and the core values of this group? It's going to be, there's a lot of things that we're going to be monitoring early on. You hear that overused word, the process. There is a process. With a new group, there's a process. With a young group, there's a process. And I'm really, really excited to see how guys are going to respond, how they're going to push, not only through camp, but through exhibition season, and watch the group gel. And then we'll get into the kind of those short-term goals for a long season.
Thank you, Lars. We've got some guys here now, so we'll start with Boone Jenner. Again, if you have a question for Boone, please raise your hand. It's going to be quick, Booner. Let's start with Aaron Portzline.
Thank you, Todd. Boone, welcome to the season.
Yeah, thanks.
How strange do things feel? What's the vibe from your seat? Just a lot of guys you've gone to battle with the last few years aren't here anymore, a lot of new faces. What do you make of what's happened, what's going on?
Yeah, definitely some changes, like you said. I think it happens every offseason. You're going to get new guys in. Some guys leave. So I think it's exciting, for all of us, obviously, to welcome in the new guys, and then obviously wish all those guys the best. Some really good friendships and battles along the way with them. So, but we're looking forward to the group that's here now.
Go to Brian Hedger on the left.
Hey, Boone, welcome back. As Lars just mentioned, within the room, with those guys that you mentioned gone, there's kind of a void there as far as, some of the leadership that you guys have had the last 3-4 years. Do you guys sense that right now that, that's there, and that you, how much are you looking forward to kind of leading the way, you and the other vets that are coming back?
Yeah, exactly. No, we've talked about it, and obviously, like you said, with some of the guys that were here that left that held a lot of that responsibility are gone, and it's a challenge. It's an opportunity for us to step up and take that and put ourselves in a bigger role that way with leadership and trying to bring in, like you said, all these a couple new guys that are here, and it's exciting. I think for us, we're excited for it. Like I said, it's a great opportunity that we're looking forward to starting tomorrow and carry on throughout camp and into the season.
Next, go to Craig Mers.
Boone, after not making the playoffs last year, first time in 5 seasons, how did you process last season, and what did you learn throughout that whole process of last year?
Yeah, it's definitely tough when I think the past few years before that, you're used to playing for a playoff spot by the end of the year, trying to get in or the positioning in the playoffs. And, this past year with not, playing for anything kind of at the end of the year, you're out of the picture. It's a tough feeling, and we haven't been there for a while. So I think it just made us hungrier over the summer, more excited to get back this year, just trying to prove ourselves again as a hockey team and want to get back to where we want to be, which is in the playoffs playing for the Cup.
Anything else for Boone? Dave, you got nothing? Okay. I'm just, he's here. No? If that's it for Boone, we'll bring Zach Wierenski up. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Booner. He's got a question for Zach.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Zach, welcome back. Oh, loud. Good to see you. Lars was talking about you kind of coming into the season, and he says you kind of look different. You've put a lot of work into the gym, things like that. I think you probably do that every offseason. But was there kind of an onus on you, knowing everything that happened this offseason, signing a contract, that they're making sure that you came in and really wanting to grab this opportunity and maybe even become a leader on the team by example and both vocally as well?
Yeah, I don't think for me it had anything to do with the contract. I think last year was a tough year for me in a lot of ways, obviously dealing with an injury, getting surgery, missing a lot of games. I definitely thought I could have played better in certain times. So I think that was a big thing. I think for me this offseason was just making sure my body's ready to go through a full 82 games. I don't want to miss any games. I don't want to miss time. I want to be out there helping the guys win, and that was a big emphasis for me this offseason. I feel like I put the work in, and obviously the hard part starts tomorrow now. It's a long season and tough training camp, but I'm excited for it, and hopefully all the work I put in pays off.
Next, go to Brian Hedger on the left.
Kind of the same thing I asked Boone a little bit, but when you sign a contract like you did to keep yourself here in that term, you're inherently saying you want to be here and help lead this team to higher levels. How much are you looking forward to kind of stepping it up in that area, maybe inside the room and on the ice, just in a leadership role?
Yeah, for sure. I think Boone said it perfectly. A lot of the guys that were leaders, Jonesy, Fliggy, Cam, Savvy, a lot of guys that we leaned on for a long time aren't here anymore, and there's a lot of opportunity for guys to step up and lead the way. Obviously we got the guys we have sitting here, Booner, Gus, Bjorky, Jake. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Obviously I don't think I'm going to change too much. I don't want to, be the guy that's the most vocal guy in the room or the rah-rah guy. It's just, not who I am. It's more so going out there and just leading by example on the ice, how I play, how I prepare. And after talking with these guys, we all feel the same way. We don't have to change anything, just make sure we're leading by example. So I'm excited for it. Obviously a new opportunity, but it should be good. It's exciting.
Next, we'll go to Aaron Portzline.
Hey, Zach, one of the things we've known around here the last 4 or 5 years is who's going to be the top defensive pair. Obviously, it's going to have a new look this year. What is that uncertainty like with you? Is it exciting? Is it nervous? Do you have any clue who's going to be on your right side when the season starts?
No, not really. I'm excited. I think every year I've came here, I've just kind of known where I was going to be and who I was going to play with. Obviously, there were some changes along the way, some ups and downs, new partners here and there. But for the most part, I played with Jonesy for, pretty much every game here. So I'm excited to see who I play with and who I get to play with. It's going to be fun. Obviously, there's a lot of new guys. We have a young D-core, a fast D-core. We have a lot of good puck movers. So whoever I play with should be a lot of fun. But I'm excited to see and kind of get that chemistry going with whoever it is.
Next, we'll go to Mark Scheig here on the right.
Hey, Zach, I'm just curious about your time in Chicago at the media tour, just being able to represent the Blue Jackets. What was that experience like for you, and what did you take away from being there?
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Exhausting.
It was a busy day. We were only there for one day because we had the golf outing on Friday, so just had a lot of stops and a lot of stuff to do. But it was my first time doing something like that, and whenever you can go and be around guys, the other guys who were there, you look around and it's Sid and Ovi and Kaner and guys like that, just to be around them and see how they handle themselves and present themselves. It's always a fun time, and I had a lot of fun doing it and representing this team. Definitely a busy day for sure.
Can you say that with a little more excitement? Inside joke. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, seriously. heard that one too many times.
Z, you've had a lot of roles, and you've been a rover, you've been the puck-carrying defenseman, you've been a goal scorer. With the change in coaching staff, does that change anything for you in terms of what your role might be? We know you're not going to be a stay-at-home guy, but where do you feel the changes might be if they're coming at all for you this year?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really think about that stuff too much. I just want to go out there and play hockey and make the best plays I can, make the play that's available to me. I don't want to try and do too much. I feel like at times when I was, labeled a rover or, the go-to guy offensively, I feel like sometimes I try and do too much, and then, sometimes maybe it took away from my defense. I think right now it's just trying to play that full 200-foot game. Just go out there and try and help this team win in whatever way I can, and like I said, just not try and do too much. Go out there, play my game, use my teammates, and just have a lot of fun doing it. We're excited to get this thing going, and once tomorrow's over and testing and whatnot, I think it's going to be fun to get on the ice with these guys.
I'll go to Jeff here on the right.
Lars is obviously going from an assistant coach to a head coach, so you have some sort of comfort level with him, I'd have to think, but are you just interested to see how things might be a little bit different under him, how he handles the role, and playing a full season under him in a new role?
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously you have a different relationship with your head coach than you do your assistants. So obviously him going to the head coaching role, it's going to be a little bit different. I think we've all the guys here have talked with him. He's going to have to make a tough decision, so it's going to be different, obviously. But we're excited to see what he can do. He's earned this opportunity. We obviously fully support him, and like I said, I'm just excited to see what he can do, and it should be a fun year playing for him.
Next, we'll go to Brian Hedger.
Hey, Zach. With all the roster turnover that you guys have had this year, how much do you pay more attention to some of the younger guys that are coming up? I mean, you guys have a young roster every year, but some of these prospects, are you guys paying attention to what they're doing maybe at the prospect tournament or anything like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I saw what the team did there. The two guys, Sillinger and Chinnikov, or however you say his name. Obviously, they had really good weeks. A couple other guys had good weeks there. Excited to see him in camp. Obviously, it's different with, in a full NHL camp and preseason and games. But obviously, there's a lot of excitement around the draft we had and some of these young guys coming in. And we're excited to see them and hopefully have them here in Columbus with us and helping this team win. So, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of guys that have played some games in the NHL, different teams that are here now. So yeah, it should be good, and I think guys are excited for their new opportunities, and it should be fun for all of us.
One more for Zach. We'll go to Dave Metzel.
Z, I'm hearing there is no 2-mile run this year. Does that disappoint you, or are you glad? What's your reaction to that?
I'm okay with that. I was never the best at the 2 miles, so I'm all good with that one.
Thanks, Z.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Now I'd like to reintroduce you to Gus Nyquist.
Hey, guys.
First question for Gus. Go to Dave.
A simple one and maybe an obvious one for you, Gus. How excited are you after missing an entire season to get going again?
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait to get camp started here and play a game soon. We have preseason games coming up pretty fast too. So, I can't wait to be out there again. It's going to be awesome.
Aaron Portzline.
Gus, how have you been able to sort of know you're cleared to go? Is the pain all gone? Have you taken hits on that shoulder? Are you through all of that mentally through the break?
Yeah, no, I've been through all the steps and process, from what you do from coming back from an injury like this. Next step is obviously a game. That's something you can't really, practice on until you're out there playing and being in situations where, you might not be ready for a hit or something like that. But body feels good and ready to go 100% here.
Next, we go to Craig Mers.
Gus, how did you handle not playing last year, sitting out watching these games, and was there any benefit from, maybe getting the view from afar?
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, watching from up top. The game's a lot easier than when you're out there on the ice. It looks a lot slower from way up there. So, but you learn things. But overall, I think it was a tough experience. It's really the first injury I've had in my career, so I've never been through anything like that. And to go through something like that, which is kind of a big or a longer injury, I would say. I mean, I missed the whole season, so it was tough. You know, you want to be out there. You want to be out there with your teammates, and you know, especially the way the season went. You know, I think a lot of guys thought the season would go a little different, but you know, you want to be out there with the guys, and so that part was tough. But again, we've turned that page and moving on here. Can't wait to get it going here.
We'll go to Jess Svoboda.
2 years ago, you were the new guy coming into a team that was pretty well established. Now suddenly, there's a lot of new players coming in. Guys will be battling for roles, things like that. Just how do you approach kind of bringing those guys into the team culture and welcoming them in? And also, just how excited are you to kind of see some of the new faces and what they bring to the table?
Yeah, no, it'll be great. Yeah, it's been a big turnaround here of players. You know, especially obviously this off season here, a lot of moves, and you know, I'm going to miss a lot of those guys that I became close friends with. But you know, it's part of the business, and like you said, we're really excited about the new guys and a lot of young guys coming in here. So again, I think camp will be kind of the starting point when you know, get set in your team group, and you know, you start getting to know them a little bit more. Yeah, can't wait to get going.
Let's go to Brian Hedger.
Hey, Gus. You know, last year at the trade deadline, this team took a significant, you know, directional change, I guess you'd say. They're calling a reset type of thing, you know, try and get things going here over the next couple of years. That led to those trades that you just talked about. What were your feelings about just kind of like the direction the team is taking here, you know, going forward?
You know what, I'm really excited about the team we have. You know, I think it's funny. I've 2 years now. Yeah, especially the first year. You know, I was getting the same questions. People didn't think we were going to make the playoffs. It was all that stuff, and we did. We beat Toronto in the bubble to get in the official playoffs, and you know, I feel like every year it's the same. We don't really worry about that stuff. You know, we're really excited about the team we have, and yeah, I mean, we're just going to prove people wrong, I guess, again.
Let's go to Aaron Portzline.
Hey, Gus, no two surgeries are the same, but I think what Max had is similar to yours, and I wondered if you've been able to talk him through what he's going through and help him through his recovery.
Yeah, for sure. No, we've had our talks about it, and you know, I think he's doing really good. I think timeline wise, talking to him, you know, it looks like he's in good shape already. You'd have to talk to him, but yes, it was kind of a similar, I think, injury. But it's so specific or like personal, I guess, with how you heal and how it's done and all that stuff. There's different things going into it. You'd have to ask a doctor about that. But yeah, I've talked to Max a little bit, and he seems to be doing really well. So hopefully he can be back, you know, sooner rather than later.
Anything more for Gus? Great. Thanks, Gus.
Thank you.
I'd like to bring Oliver Bjorkstrand up. Questions for Oliver? Go ahead, Hedge.
All right. Ollie, welcome back. Good to see you. You know, the last couple of years, you have really, you know, in your game, taken strides, I think, each season. Is there another level for you to get to this year?
Yeah, no, I think so. Every year I try to hit another level, and I thought I did strides last year again, and I think I could even take it to another level next year, and just being, again, more consistent. I like to score goals, so put the puck in the net. And then obviously this year, be more of a leader. So I'm excited about it.
Next one, Aaron Portzline.
Hey, Oliver, big trade this offseason with Cam leaving and Voracek coming in. I'm wondering, as a team with Line A and yourself up front, how beneficial it's going to be to have an elite playmaker in the mix, in Voracek coming in, but also Nyquist back to healthy. How much did you sort of miss and need more playmaking up front?
Yeah, I think we've been missing that part in our team, and obviously on the power play too. So getting a playmaker in is going to be huge for us. So super excited about that, and then having Gus back in the lineup, I think that's really going to help us. This, you know, his overall two-way game is just really solid, and he can make plays, and also put the puck in the net. So those two players are going to be huge for us. So really excited.
Next, go to Dave Metzel.
Hello, Oliver.
Hey.
I think you have moved from emerging potential NHL star to a bona fide NHL goal scorer now. How does your body of work so far help you either from a confidence standpoint or just a good solid foundation under you as you enter another NHL season?
Yeah. No, every year I feel like I've had to build on that confidence. And again, I feel like I've taken strides every year. And there's no reason why I shouldn't have more confidence this year. So I'm going to keep building on it, hold on to it, and just keep it going. Closing.
Next, go to Mark Scheig. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Oliver, welcome back. Brad Larson was just saying, you deserve the chance to take the next step in the leadership role. How do you foresee that playing out? What do you think is the next step for you in that regard?
I'm just going to keep on being myself. I'm not a huge talker in the locker room, I would say. So for me, it's just leading on the ice and practices and all that stuff. So that's how I'm going to do it, and there's no reason for me to change it. It's who I am. So I'll try to be a leader on the ice.
Next, go to Craig Mers here on the left.
Oliver, when you look around the room, you're one of the guys that's been here longer than anybody, with all the other guys leaving. And how does that make you feel?
Feel older, yeah. Feel like yesterday I was super young, but no, I've been here a few years now, and yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm growing up, and just excited about being more of a leader on the team and taking that step. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
Any more questions for Ollie? Great. Thanks, Ollie.
Thanks, guys.
And now let me officially welcome back Jake Voracek. Just like old times, Porty, why don't you take the first one?
Jake Voracek, welcome back to Columbus. What's changed? Does everything feel the same, or does everything feel different, or what's your vibe this day?
Same old faces, it's good to be home.
Jarmo's mentioned multiple times upon your acquisition that he sees you as a leader in the room, and I wonder what that sounds like to you, and if that's something you're looking forward to. Was it something that was asked of you in Philly, or is this going to be maybe more of that than you have experienced before?
No, you kind of grow into that role over the years, and with the experience, with the games played, with the situation on the ice. I've been part of the leadership group in Philly for about 7-8 years, so it's nothing new for me. And especially with a young locker room, we need a guy that kind of lead by the example and lead the direction. And I've been. I know it's harder for the media or for you guys to see inside of it, but sometimes you don't see the little things that's happening in the locker room. And I've never been a show-off guy to kind of show off for the media or people how good of a leader I am. But I'm sure that for the young guys in Philly, I did a pretty solid job to kind of teach them how to do some things, and I take pride in that because I had a good leadership group when I was young, and you have to pass it over to the young guys, and like I said, I take a pride in that, and I'm willing to do that and excited for that to do that here.
Next, go to Dave Metzel here in the front.
Hey, Jake, good to see you again. When you left here, this team was still trying to figure out how to become a perennial playoff contender. I think that's changed. You could safely say that's changed, and now it's kind of got a new bar set for this organization, this franchise. As you've observed it from a different franchise, from a different organization, how have you seen the growth here in Columbus, and how anxious are you to get this team back to a perennial postseason contender now after missing a year?
Well, obviously we knew it in Philly because not many teams wanted to come here and play a hockey game. It's a tough building to play in. It wasn't like that when I was here, I don't think. It changed a lot, the way the Blue Jackets played, the way the fans reacted to the games, and it wasn't easy games to play here. And I know every time we come down here, we knew it was going to be a battle. And it's really important for the other teams to feel that way in the future as well, because you want to be successful on your home ice, and obviously it's a different looking team this year with a lot of young guys, but you want to start from the beginning and kind of to build up that expectation throughout the year and to be successful right away. Obviously I read some stuff or I hear some stuff. Is this a rebuild? Is this a rebuild? I was saying that way. If that was a rebuild, I don't think Jarmo would trade for me. You don't want a player with an $8 million cap hit on a team that is a rebuilding. If I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited about everything going forward, and gotta get to meet some new faces, some new guys, and lead by the example to them.
Next question for Jake. Go to Brian Hedger.
Hey, Jake, welcome here.
Thank you.
When you are, you've been in this league a while, and when you're a veteran, you've played with younger guys before. Is it fun when you play with younger guys and you have them next to you? Do you get something from that, energy or anything like that?
It's fun if they listen to you, yes. No, but, I was lucky enough that I had a good veteran presence, when I was growing up here in Columbus, even in Philly when I was still young. And you learn it that way, so you try to use it on the other guys after when you get older, and every year you get older and older. That experience is very helpful. So, like I said, we haven't started a training camp yet, so, I'm not sure what we're going to have, but I'm sure that it's going to be a really exciting team that's going to play a lot of exciting hockey this year, and I'm excited to be part of it.
Go to Craig Mers.
Hi, Jake. Just an overall general question. Your thoughts on the NHL going back into the Olympics this year, coming to you?
Yeah, I think it's good for hockey. It's really important for hockey to be part of those things. And obviously there's always two different ways to look at it. Obviously for the owners, for the NHL, it's not as great because players can get hurt. But I think it should be always part of the sport of hockey, because it's a great thing. It's all over the world. It's the best of the best meeting each other, and it's really get you. It should be always one of the top priorities to be part of the Olympic team, and I think a lot of everybody takes pride in that, and that's the way it should be, and hopefully it's gonna be like that for upcoming years.
Dave?
There's a curiosity amongst at least two Springsteen fans in the room, if you are still a huge Bruce Springsteen fan.
Oh yeah, I'm still. That doesn't leave you. So hopefully after everything's getting back to normal a little bit here, that we're gonna get the chance to go see him, because it's been a long time since he's been off.
Good question, Dave. Any other questions for Jake? Music related or not? All right, great. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.